Now, the interesting thing about securities tokens, depending on the regulatory environment, is that it actually has the potential to bring us back to bearer assets. It almost reverses what we've been doing with equities. Brings us back to the days where a piece of paper that you hold gives you the rights to a significant value of money through equity. We haven't really had that before, but with a token, we potentially could. Where if you lose the keys to that token, you lose your actual asset and your ownership or equity in a company. So let's talk about kind of securing digital assets. What have been the problems, and what potentially can we do to fix it, and what we're doing at Edge to help that solve that problem. So this is a kind of very clear, if you've been in blockchain for any period of time, you understand this concept that blockchains require private keys, but they're fairly intimidating to handle. This is an example of an early Bitcoin wallet and how you had to secure and back up your keys. From your phone, you're required to save a PDF file, and then it generated a password for you, and you couldn't lose or change that password. From the viewpoint of creating a financial services application on your phone, when have you ever had to do this? This is completely foreign to the average person. This is a little bit more familiar to those that have been in crypto for maybe the past several years. This is the glorified 12-word backup phrase. And that seems simple enough, right? The concept that all you have to do is write down 12 words. But it's forcing us to do something that our brains are not accustomed to. If you've ever heard of the term out of sight and out of mind, we're being asked to take something that's incredibly sensitive and make sure to put it out of sight. But at the same time, keep it in mind. Because if you lose it, there goes our value. And that's been true of Bitcoin, digital currency, which the world has been somewhat new to. But with the world kind of revolving and turning tokens into securities, we're potentially seeing this kind of challenge for what normally we would be accustomed to with just a general E-Trade account. This is another real cool example of an application, a decentralized application and its private key management, where to create an account in this decentralized app, you created a password, and then it gave you your username. That was the username that you then would log into another browser with. Yeah, you could copy and paste it, but it sure as hell was intimidating. Once again, it's so foreign, intimidating, that it alienates a significant amount of the population. But this, my friends, is what we're telling people. This is the crypto revolution, and here's how you use it. And it's created the #1 reason why crypto has been lost. Contrary to what a lot of the media will tell you, this is actually the #1 reason. Is this: we just simply are human, and we're imperfect, and we lose it. It's intimidating. We don't know where we put it. This isn't one of our strengths, is backing up very sensitive digital data. So what have many people done? Well, we just leave it with a trusted third party. Leave it with a centralized service, an exchange, a hosted wallet, a custodian, a hedge fund. And we know what the challenges are with that. And if you think about it, cryptocurrency at its heart was built so that you actually control the asset, whatever that is, whether that's a digital currency, a utility token, and in this case, a securities token. You yourself control it. You have the ability to send it and receive it without a third party. So this, however, has created the second biggest cause of loss, which is central server attacks and hacks. And the challenge with this model is simply that you've aggregated the funds and given attackers a very, very appealing target. Put it in one place, you know where it is, you probably even know how much value is in there, and you just say, come get me. It looks kind of like having a castle at the top of the hill. You kind of know that that castle is where the entire village's gold is. And it might have a huge moat and a big, thick wall, but once you knock out a brick into that wall and you get inside, you've got the entire town's value. And that's the challenge with this, is that it's not like you can't put a lot of technology behind it, but it's just too much incentive to attack it. So the concept around what we've fundamentally believed in is this concept of edge security. Our company's called Edge. I'm CEO and co-founder of Edge, but the concept predates our company, which is, let's take data and the value and secure it at the edges of the network. And at the very, very farthest edges of the network are people. It's us and the devices that we have. Secure it there. Don't put it in the central services. And make sure that it's encrypted before it ever hits the network, before it ever uses the cloud. The cloud can be your friend, but don't necessarily trust it the way we've been doing so with the likes of Google Drive, Dropbox, and other central services. And this is effectively what we build. What are we doing here is we're taking technology that's existed over the course of the decades, things that we've had, encryption tools that we've had, but really haven't had a strong motivation to use until cryptocurrency and Bitcoin. Because now we have data that's super sensitive, and now we should apply encryption to that data. And so at Edge, we build a platform that any dApp developer can use that automatically takes keys and any other sensitive data, automatically encrypts them on the user's device, automatically backs them up in case the device is lost, synchronizes it between the different devices someone might have, because we're a multi-device world. We use our phone, our tablet, our computer. Two-factors it invisibly. You never have to copy and paste 6 digits between Google Authenticator or an SMS. It just happens in the background. And biometric, we're all used to that. That's built into the platform. And then a huge nugget, password recovery. And that's one of the biggest things that has challenged people with encryption tools. Once you encrypt data, if you're the one that has the key, how do you unlock it? Well, we have a split key mechanism that allows people to recover a lost password, although slightly different but very familiar in the process. And all of this is effectively usable to the end user with the user experience of just creating an account and logging in. They never have to see 24 words. They never have to write anything down, put it in a safe, but they still have full control of the asset. Once again, whatever kind of asset it would be, from cryptocurrency, utility tokens, securities tokens, or just data, right? Private keys are nothing more than just data. And so to extend on this concept of securing data at the edges with just a username and password, we actually built the only and first single sign-on for encrypted data. Now, many of you have used Google, Facebook, or Twitter to sign into several services because it definitely is more convenient. As opposed to creating an account on service A, B, and C, you create one account with Google, and you log into multiple services. The caveat, though, is that an attacker of Google can effectively log in and see your account on any of those services, or a rogue employee at Google. This is the reason why there haven't been any dApps, wallets, decentralized apps that use those single sign-ons, because they can't secure data. They can't secure data for the user. What we built is a way that one account that you create with our product, with Edge Wallet, can actually sign into multiple apps. And it's creating keys on your device for that app, encrypting them and backing them up, linking them to one encrypted account, where the keys for each app is separate so that they don't affect each other. So giving you the single sign-on experience that we're used to, but with the security infrastructure that we need for blockchain tech. As well, using our own platform, we built our own app, Edge Wallet, on top of it. And it's just what you'd think in a multi-currency wallet. It supports several different blockchains, Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, all the way down the list. And it actually incorporates a lot of the kind of newer technology of some of these blockchains, such as SegWit for Bitcoin. Bech32 addresses are in the stack, although not yet enabled. And one unique thing about this, and this shows the potential for this security model that the blockchain space has created, this idea of us being able to secure our own data, is that inside of the app, you're able to tag transactions with metadata. Who did I pay? What's the name of the person? What was the fiat value, which is really, really important for reporting reasons. If you want to actually report what's your gain or your losses in cryptocurrency, you got to know what you acquired it at. What was the price? So you could tag that information. What's the category of it? Was it an expense, income, a trade? But all of that data gets encrypted on your device. No one sees it but the end user unless you choose to share it. And that's a unique opportunity to effectively have a mini encrypted database on that device for your user. So if you're building an application, prior to the cryptocurrency world, you haven't really had a choice. It's just use a central database that you hold, but then you're now exposed to the risk of compromising your user's data. And in the world of GPDR, kind of laying the hammer across a lot of startups, that becomes a huge liability. With platforms like Edge, you now have an option to take some of that data that you deem as too sensitive, such as private keys, and put it in an encrypted storage that still is backed up and synchronized. So that data that you put inside of Edge does go through that same type of security that we would have for private keys. As well, the app is fairly modular. We can plug in different blockchains. If you're working on another blockchain, you can write a little plugin in JavaScript for you developers. And then the application doesn't change. It supports the different blockchains, in addition to the ones that are already supported. So Shapeshift also is integrated in order to be able to exchange between different currencies. And we will be launching exchange partners that will let you get into and out of fiat right from within inside the application. The integration with the SDK partner apps, to explain that a little bit, is if someone uses our platform in their decentralized app, and that app uses cryptocurrency and it holds some currency, you sign in with Edge Wallet, you'll actually see those funds also inside of your phone. So it'll have the same keys and can transact the funds both in the dApp as well as on our own Edge Wallet. And this is what I'm really excited about, which is using this type of security for stuff that's outside of the blockchain, because we're not really restricted to using security for keys only for private keys. In the IoT world, there was a hack, I think last year, where these light bulbs had in the ROM, built into it, the password to access the light bulb. Ideally, no one would know that password is put in there by the manufacturer, but if you dug into this device, you'd get it. But it was the exact same password across all of the light bulbs, because it's really hard to change. In a manufacturing process, it's hard to put a unique piece of data in each device. So once one person found this password, it got out, and thousands of light bulbs got attacked. But really, nothing happened to the light bulbs. What they then did is they attacked Twitter. They created one of the biggest DDoS attacks in the past 5 years and actually took down Twitter along with a couple other sites by just shoveling a ton of traffic at them. If instead of having passwords inside of these IoT devices, we actually had public keys, we could use private keys. The same private keys we use to hold cryptocurrency, we can use those to authenticate into those devices, much like we authenticate to a blockchain to say that we own those tokens. So this is something I'm excited about. We could do this, but we've just not done it because we haven't had good solutions to secure keys. As well as financial applications, the Quickens and QuickBooks of the world. Why use QuickBooks Online that compromises all of your information, potentially for your business, to a big company like Intuit, versus an alternative that actually secures that data client-side? Information password managers. Evernote was recently compromised, and pretty much all the data that was on Evernote got placed on the dark web. So if you had anything on there, Evernote saw all of it, and a compromise of them compromised all of your data. These are the types of applications that can, should, and in my opinion, in the future will, incorporate a security model that we built for blockchain. Healthcare records as well. I think these are ripe for disruption from the viewpoint of really changing the way we secure data. Many companies in the space, you'll hear this a lot, we want you to own your own data. Right? That's the promise of blockchain. You own your own data. But if you ask, what is the definition of owning your own data? Many are very confused by that. We define it in a single way. You own it, meaning no one can see it but you. Unless you choose to share it, no one can see it because you're the only one that has the key to unlock that vault of your data. And that's it. I invite anyone that is interested in using the platform or looking at building a DApp that needs good key management that an end user can be very familiar with. Check us out, edgesecure.co, as well, to get you an example of what that feels like. Try out our mobile app. It's available on iOS and Android. You can get it also from edgesecure.co. If you see me in the hallway, I'll happily send you $5 in crypto, so if you've got it on your phone, just so you can give it a try, and please send us some feedback. Thank you very much, everybody.